Hi, and welcome back to Understanding Depression, a podcast where we explore the human side of mental health with empathy, education, and honesty. I'm glad you're here. Today we're diving into something both simple and profound, journaling. Maybe you've tried it. Maybe you've heard it can help. Or maybe you've rolled your eyes at the idea that writing down your thoughts could actually change how you feel. Wherever you are on that spectrum, this episode is for you. We'll explore the science behind journaling, how it supports mental health, and why so many therapists recommend it. We'll also talk about the emotional blocks that can come up, how to get started, and most importantly, how to make journaling work for you, not just as a to-do list item, but as a gentle tool for reflection, healing, and growth. So grab a warm drink, settle in, and let's begin. Let's start with the basics. Therapeutic journaling is a form of expressive writing where you explore your inner world, your thoughts, feelings, experiences, and patterns, on paper or in a digital space. It's not about documenting events like a diary. Instead, it's about processing what's going on inside you. Think of it as a conversation with yourself, a safe, judgment-free zone where you can express what you're feeling without filtering or censoring. This kind of writing allows you to make sense of your emotions, gain clarity, and even discover insights that might be hard to access through everyday thinking. And here's the powerful part. You don't have to be a writer to benefit from journaling. There are no grammar rules. No one will grade your sentences. All that matters is that it's your voice, your experience, and your truth. You might be wondering, how can writing in a notebook actually help with depression, anxiety, or stress? Well, when we're overwhelmed emotionally, our thoughts often spiral. They bounce around in our heads without structure. Journaling creates a space to externalize those thoughts. When you put words to what you're feeling, you give your emotions a shape, and that shape can be understood, examined, and worked with. Research backs this up. Studies have shown that expressive writing can reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, improve emotional regulation, and even boost the immune system. In one landmark study by psychologist James Pennebaker, participants who wrote about emotional experiences for just 15 to 20 minutes a day over a few days showed significant improvements in both physical and mental health. Journaling works because it helps us slow down. When you write, you move from raw emotion to reflection. You engage different parts of the brain, especially those involved in reasoning and language. That's why you might feel lighter or clearer after writing through a tough day. And for people with depression or trauma, journaling can offer a sense of control. A small, manageable action in a world that may feel chaotic. Let's take a moment to geek out, just a little, on what's happening in the brain when you journal. Neuroscience tells us that the act of writing activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. At the same time, writing about emotions can calm the amygdala, the brain's alarm system. This dual activation of both emotional and logical centers can create what researchers call cognitive integration. You're literally wiring your brain to process experiences more clearly and calmly. Plus, journaling encourages neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections. The more you write reflectively, the better you get at recognizing your thought patterns, reframing negative beliefs, and developing emotional insight. In short, journaling isn't just talking to yourself. It's training your brain to cope more skillfully with stress, sadness, and uncertainty. Let's move from science to soul. Meet Maya, a 28-year-old artist who struggled with anxiety after losing her job. She started journaling every night, not to solve her problems, but just to give herself a space to be honest. Over time, she noticed patterns. Her anxiety peaked every Sunday night. Why? Because Mondays triggered her fear of being unproductive. That realization helped her reshape her routine. Then there's Jordan, a father of two navigating grief after the sudden death of his brother. He told us he couldn't talk about it, not even with his partner. But in his journal, he wrote letters to his brother. He cried through some of them, laughed through others. Eventually, those pages helped him say the words out loud. These stories aren't unique. People across cultures, ages, and backgrounds have found journaling to be a private, powerful form of healing. It's not therapy, but it is therapeutic. And that distinction matters. Even though journaling can be deeply therapeutic, many people struggle to get started or keep going. Let's talk about the most common challenges and how to overcome them. 1. I don't know what to write. This is probably the most common block. The blank page can feel intimidating. A helpful tip is to start with a simple prompt like "Today I feel," or "What's been on my mind lately?" You don't need to write anything profound. Just begin with the truth of the moment, no matter how small or scattered it feels. 2. Perfectionism. Many people worry their writing won't be good enough or make sense. But journaling isn't about writing well. It's about writing honestly. Let go of grammar, spelling, or structure. This is for you, not for anyone else. It doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to be real. 3. Fear of facing emotions. Sometimes we avoid journaling because we're afraid of what might come up. That's valid. But remember, you're not writing to make things worse. You're writing to understand yourself better. You can always pause, take a breath, or stop if it becomes too much. Emotional safety comes first. 4. Inconsistency or lack of time. You don't have to journal every day or for hours at a time. Even 5 minutes once or twice a week can be beneficial. Make it accessible, not a chore. 5. It doesn't seem to be working. Sometimes the effects of journaling aren't immediate. Like exercise, its benefits accumulate over time. If one style doesn't work, try another: free writing, gratitude journaling, even doodling. The method can be flexible as long as the intention is honest. Starting a journaling practice doesn't require much. Just a few intentional steps. 1. Choose your tools. Use whatever feels comfortable. A blank notebook, a guided journal, or an app like Day One or Notion. Handwriting often slows thoughts down, but typing can feel more fluid. Choose what fits your rhythm. 2. Set the scene. Create a calming space. Maybe early morning, during a break, or before bed. Even just 5 quiet minutes matter. 3. Set a timer. Especially if you're new, set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes. Write without stopping until the time's up. This helps you bypass the inner critic. 4. Use prompts. Here are a few prompts to try. What do I need right now? What emotion am I holding? What am I afraid of? What am I proud of? What's one small win today? 5. Reflect, but gently. You don't have to reread your entries unless you want to. Journaling is about release and understanding, not producing something to analyze. One of the most underestimated elements of journaling is consistency. Like any practice meant to support mental health, journaling works best when it's done regularly. That doesn't mean writing pages every day. It could be just a few lines every other day, or even once a week. The key is to make it a gentle habit, not a rigid rule. When you show up consistently to write, you're telling your mind and body, I care about what's happening inside me. This act of caring, repeated over time, can gradually reshape how you relate to your own experiences. Journaling consistently helps create emotional tracking. You may begin to see patterns in your mood, your stressors, or even the things that bring you joy. That awareness is a powerful step toward healing. Remember, journaling doesn't have to be beautiful or deep every time. It just has to be yours. The power lies not in what you write, but in the fact that you're showing up for yourself again and again. As we wrap up this episode, here's what I hope you take away. Journaling isn't a magical fix, and it won't make all your struggles disappear overnight. But it is a compass. It points you back to yourself again and again. It gives shape to the things you can't say out loud. It offers safety, space, and a chance to be honest. In a world that often asks us to hide our pain, journaling invites us to be seen, at least by ourselves. And sometimes that's the beginning of true healing. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, or uncertain about your mental health, maybe, just maybe, pick up a pen. Start with a sentence. Let it lead you to the next. One line at a time, you're building a bridge back to yourself. Thank you for being here and listening mindfully. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need it. Your support helps more people find these important conversations. Take care of your mind, your heart, and your words. Until next time. Disclaimer: This podcast is for educational purposes only and does not substitute professional mental health advice. If you are struggling, please reach out to a licensed therapist or a trusted support system.